Can't promise you on that.
Well, yours is an area where you don't want to cut back on training.
No.
And you've already done it. Your budget proposal seems quite reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
So the two on this line, that this page, big jumps from actual telephone, 18 to 32. If we can do it at 18 this year, we probably can do it at 18. Not a big, you know. Collect those 1,400s, they add up. And natural gas.
Natural gas, again, is something we have no control
I
over.
know there's no.
Didn't you get your bill?
I locked in. Well, actually, I have a
So that's gone the opposite direction from gas?
Personnel, there's been some debate about budgeting for another apprentice lineman. We budgeted for half a year in this year. I know that's going to be a tough one, but as most of you know, I've been here requesting a 9th man for about 7 years now. So. Only because of the size and scope of our system and our responsibilities to maintain that system. And what it takes to grow a lineman, it takes approximately 7 years to go from an apprentice to a top journeyman lineman.
Just so I know I can read what you're saying. If you look at the personnel sheet, Mike, there's the last apprentice lineman, you have replacement. Is that what you're talking about when
Yes.
I go across there?
Yes.
Okay. And you're proposing a half year?
Yeah, we had someone on board, right? We lost, he is no longer with us. We proposed while it is vacant, it is an important position, but let's take advantage of not replacing it right away. We can function now, but take a 6-month break and get back on track.
And this line reflects it because at the very far right, you're looking at a $25,000 figure, which is half basically what the full year salary would be. Okay.
Any other questions on this account?
I feel we weren't nearly as tough on Mike as we should have been.
Got another chance.
I'm still here.
It's
Good.
not going anywhere. We got 2 more runs on it.
9,500, electric utility administration.
This budget is always affected by 2 completely uncontrollable items, health insurance and pension. You'll see those are large increases.
Well, not, I looked through here, and it looks like in this budget, that health increase is in the overhead line,
Health is in,
as opposed to fringe? I had a little trouble following through on this one, Robert. I was peeking.
okay.
And
Yes,
if you-
we have to, in the case, the health insurance is charged when we receive the health insurance bill. It's charged to 4 areas. Part of it goes and is charged against appropriation in the water utility. Part of the bill is charged against an appropriation in the electric utility, which you see in account 528.
Right.
And then the other piece is, the third piece is charged against the library, their budget, and then the fourth piece is charged against the appropriation in the municipal budget.
Yeah, but Robert, I think here's where John's coming from. If you look at this budget, overall, there's almost a $1.5 million increase, but it's not coming out of personnel and fringe. It's coming out of total other expenses, and when you look at the total other, it's really coming from the line called purchasing power, whatever that is under supplies.
Yes.
Is that what you're referring to?
No, just as a lead-in, I didn't get to that one yet. I just wanted to call the attention to the,
Right, and I think you were addressing my issue. And I guess what I was trying to understand was, as I looked, and help me if I get this wrong, but on this budget summary, the overhead line increases from actual 12/31/08 of 517 to a budget of 620, 600. And if you look at the backup data, 4 pages in, overhead, on this one, we've got in overhead insurance. And that insurance increase, health and dental, goes from 302 to 377. Okay? I wanted to understand why in this budget I was seeing that increase under overhead. When I talked with Bob Vogel, and we talked about overhead, it was travel, it was postage, it was these other things. And I wanted to understand why in this budget, that increase is showing up in overhead as opposed to showing up in personnel and fringes.
Okay, actually, there's a double count here, because I have the health insurance budgeted in account 528, which I need a line item appropriation. I have to have a line item appropriation in the water, electric, library, and municipal budget for it.
Okay.
And then I included it essentially, again, in the, which is an oversight, in the fringe benefit rate.
Okay.
Just to show, basically what the fringe line shows you is what is the fringe benefits for this particular budget. This is the 38.22% number?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. But you have to have an appropriation within the water utility, because you're going to see the exact same thing in water. You have to have an appropriation where to charge the insurance.
So all that means what?
Thank you for asking that question.
It means
I'm not too proud. Right. Again, help me, why, I understand you have this need to have it in as a line item, and we put it in under overhead to do that?
traditionally, yes.
Okay. I guess what I'm looking for as we go through this whole budget process is also internal consistency. What, Vogel had, for instance, and just because he was here and it's where I asked the question, he similarly had those increases. They don't get allocated to his department. They just show up in the general borough number for increase in health insurance?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
That's
And
correct.
So the difference here is with water, electric, library, you're gonna put a line item in for the allocated increase for those insurance costs for those three departments on a specific line like this.
Always have.
And the reason for that, Robert, is we want our rate structure to reflect the actual cost of operating the utility, because you're selling a product,
Understood.
and you want to recover your costs.
Understood.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But,
Oh, and
But I guess-
another reason for this is that the
Cap.
inside cap is, for the municipal spending, is inside the cap.
No, I
Where the
understand.
library's outside, the water's outside, and the electric is outside.
understood, which explains why the entire increase for health and dental insurance is not absorbed solely on the municipal line. But again, why would the electric utilities allocated share of that increase appear as a quote-unquote overhead item as opposed to a fringe benefit item? So that when I look at a global budget and I see my overhead numbers and the increases there, as opposed to my personnel and fringe benefit numbers. I mean, this allocation of the increased insurance cost for the electric utility appearing on the overhead line, to the extent I asked you, as I did previously, to give a breakdown on all the overhead expenses the borough has, well, this stuff is going to distort everything.